Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Billy here from Draft Shot. You can follow me on Twitter at BillSnake23 or catch me in the chat at BHarold23. I'm here to try a new segment this week called Harold's Hashtags. Just something I thought I would try. Please leave me some feedback on it and let me know what you think. I'm going to just run through some things from this week, discuss the slate, and kind of attach a hashtag to it to add a little something different to it. So I'm going to go through probably five, six things here this week that I find interesting, and kind of let you know my thoughts on the slate and some directions I'm going with some of the plays, and hopefully I can help you win some money. All right, so first one, hashtag Jaguars Chris Ivory correlation. I'm a really big fan of this one. On both slates, the Jags D is one of the cheapest defenses you can play, and Chris Ivory is one of the cheapest running backs you can play. Houston's extremely good against the pass, one of the best in the league, and I think they allow less than 200 yards a game receiving to wide receivers. So, Allen Robinson's a name I heard thrown around a good bit, but I'm not on him this week. But I'm really on Ivory because I think it's a great spot for him. Last week, they made the switch at offensive coordinator, and all of a sudden you see Ivory have his highest percentage of snaps, his most rush yards of the season. So I really like his chances here. Texans are really weak against the run. That's where you can beat them. And I think Ivory could possibly get 100 yards and one or two touchdowns this week. And on the flip side, he's a strong correlation with the Jags D. We've all seen Brock Osweiler. He just is not a very good quarterback. They're on the road. The line in this game has gone from a pick'em to 2.5 in favor of the Jaguars. So they're now home favorites. I like to target defenses in situations that way. So if you're looking for a probably low-owned contrarian cheap stack this week with a lot of upside, I recommend Ivory Jags. And if you don't have confidence in the Jags D, I still think you should strongly consider Christopher Ivory. I have him in my cash rankings this week. I think he's actually cash viable. So I wouldn't put him up there maybe, with the David Johnsons of the world, of course, or the Ajayis or anything like that. But I think if you're looking for salary relief in GPPs and cash, I think he is one of your better bets in the sub 4 range. All right, next one. Hashtag stack Green Bay receivers. Tennessee is not great against the pass. I've talked a little bit the last couple weeks about how the Jaguars have gone. I mean, not the Jaguars. The Packers have gone pretty much to just passing the ball every single play, and their running game is just short passes to guys making routes around the line of scrimmage and out of the backfield. James Starks is possible to return this week. I actually even like that better for the passing game because now the defenses have to cue in on an actual running back, which might open up some opportunities on the outside and in the slot. Randall Cobb is a guy that nobody's really talking about. He's been out with a hamstring last couple weeks. He gets a nut matchup with Bryce McCain. If you read my article, Stacks Don't Lie this week, I mentioned. Actually, I think that one did make the cut. But if you got in chat, I talked about the matchup there for Cobb in the slot. It's a really strong matchup. McCain has been the worst at defending any receiver all season when he's in the slot. So Cobb could be in for a big game this week. And I really like Jordy. I think Jordy's very cash viable this week. Him and Rodgers seem to be getting on the same page. He seems to be getting healthier by the week, and this is a really good situation for the passing game. So here's one of my hot takes of the week. I like Cobb and Jordy to combine for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So I think it's extremely possible and smart to play both in a couple lineups if you're playing GPPs and just see if they can get you some upside. And of course, you can stack them with Rodgers if you like. Devontae Adams is another option there, but I'm not on him as much as I am. And Montgomery as well. I'm not on either one of them as much as I am on Jordy and Cobb. And with Montgomery, you worry about the sickle cell and his snap count due to that. Okay, so the third one that I have is hashtag go in on Devontae Booker. So I haven't heard any talk about Devontae Booker this week. Everybody seems to be off of him because there's this talk of Capri Bibbs coming in, and yeah, maybe Bibbs cuts into his touches a little bit, into his workload, but even if he gets 60%, it's still a nut matchup. We know how bad New Orleans is against the run. Booker could still easily slice them up. And, everybody's going to be on David Johnson, Ajayi, Devontae Freeman, Gordon, and they're all around the same price as him. Matter of fact, he's the same exact price on DraftKings as Ajayi and Gordon. So I think it's, a really nice pivot there off of those two guys because, Ajayi could easily bust any moment here after what he's done. Gordon, could have a week where he comes back to earth. And if that happens and Booker goes off like he could in this matchup, I really like Booker there at that price as a pivot. So let's see. I have a couple more here. Hashtag fade the Cardinals pass defense except for J.J. Nelson. So this isn't. This is maybe a not smart take here, but the line on this game is huge, and when lines get up over 10 points, I think it was Phil who brought this up. When lines get up over 10 points, the passing games are severely affected by that. This could be a game where they just hand the ball to David Johnson 35 times, and he just goes absolutely bonkers and puts up like 50 fantasy points. It could be a game where they give Palmer some work and to work some rust off, but I don't think it's going to be needed. I don't think it's going to be necessary. The Cardinals are at home. Cardinals D is the chalkiest of plays at defense. It's a game where they could just, run the score up here and run away with this. And if they do that, then, the running game with Johnson and possibly Ellington is going to be the way to go. The reason I say everybody but J.J. Nelson is because all it takes is, J.J. Nelson with his 4.2 speed to break loose for one long touchdown, and he's got value for you because he's only 4,200 on DraftKings. And you're good there. But Fitz, I have him in my cash rankings at 10, but I'm considering making a change there with Cobb because the more and more I look at it, I like Cobb's matchup more and Fitzgerald's less just because I think that, like I said, they might not have to pass the ball much after the second quarter. So that's a very interesting one, very interesting take there. So take it for what it's worth, and don't shoot the messenger if I'm wrong on that one. All right, next one. Hashtag do not pay over 6K for a quarterback this week. This is another one that is a little bit risky, but I see 4 guys right now under 6K on DraftKings, and on FanDuel I don't have their prices in front of me, but I know there are also some of the cheaper quarterbacks on FanDuel as well. So it's going to be, I think it's hashtag don't pay over 7.5K on FanDuel. But Mariota, Trevor Siemian, Jay Cutler, and Carson Wentz all provide very safe floors, I think, this week with upside that could rival that of the guys in the 6 and 7K range. Now, my reason behind this is quarterback is the one position I've really researched like for the last 2 years and tried to figure out, is there any advantage to going this route, going that route at quarterback, lineup construction, and anything like that. And one thing that I've tried to do for the most part is pay down at quarterback, because quarterback to me seems like the one position where ownership is all about level, and fantasy points are not a huge gap between the top scoring guy and like the 15th guy. A lot of times between the first guy and the top 15 guys, it's like 4 fantasy points. So if I can save, for example, $2,000 on a Jay Cutler as opposed to a Aaron Rodgers and only have like a 6 point difference there or even a 7 point difference there, then I think I'm at an advantage there because I can easily make up those 7 points with the 2,000 I could put towards a receiver or a running back in place of a guy. Think about if I'm having to try to pay for a min price guy as opposed to a guy that's 5K who's in a really, really good matchup, and I like the upside there better. I'm willing to take the 6 or 7 point hit, with the cheaper guy and go with the more expensive, safer wide receiver. Now, those four guys I mentioned, let me kind of tell you why I like them. Mariota, I mentioned him in my article. I also mentioned him on Periscope last night. 5 straight games, multiple touchdown passes, 3 touchdown passes or more in 3 of those 5 games. He gets Green Bay, who's been torched multiple times this year. Sam Shields has been out all year with a concussion. They're just not a very good pass defense. Matthews is out at the linebacker spot for Green Bay, so I really like Mariota. Plus, his legs give him a very nice floor. Trevor Siemian, he's had 30-point game this year. They're going to be in a situation where this game could turn into a game where they're going to need to throw a lot. If you like Siemian, and I'm talking to Siemian here, I like pairing him probably with Demaryius. Demaryius Thomas slightly more. I think Sanders is going to be on Delvin Breaux, who's a pretty elite corner, which could open up the side there for Demaryius to have a very big game. And we all know, we've seen Demaryius in the past. If he gets going, he could have 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. And against the Saints, that's always possible. Jay Cutler, great matchup here with Tampa Bay. They really can't stop anybody. You've heard all the love for Alshon Jeffrey this week. Jeffrey's my favorite play this week. And I love Cutler a lot this week. That is a very good stack if you want to go that direction. And Carson Wentz, I think, is a great play. Atlanta also is not very strong against the pass. I don't know if Wentz is going to throw the ball more than 30 or 31 times, but Jordan Matthews is set up to have a great game with Desmond Trufant out. Sproles is set up to have a great game with how bad the Falcons are against defending the running back. I could easily see Wentz only throw the ball 30 times, but hit 250 for possibly 3 touchdowns, and he's going to smash value with a line like that. So, guys, that's it for my hashtag takes here this week. Please comment on the YouTube below or talk to me in chat, DM me, or any of those good things, and just let me know your thoughts on this. And if you have any more questions, I'm glad to help. Good luck to you all this week, and hopefully you come out on top with some money in your pocket. Good luck.